I've been watching a lot of
Flower seems cool. I want to watch Flower.
The Challenge on MTV.
Also, apparently,
Yeah. That one's gonna start pretty soon. It starts like this weekend, I think. I'll watch that one for sure. But I've just been watching old seasons because it's like a tradition for Aaron and I. We've always watched.
My shit all bunched up.
It's my New Year's resolution is to get rid of this.
oh, now I don't even know what the fuck this movie was
I
called.
tried to last year, but I signed up for a personal trainer.
She probably was some smoke-collared camp girl.
Well, hello. Hi, Phil. Hello.
Hi.
Welcome, gents, ladies, and everything in between to the episode 6. What is this?
Episode 6.
Episode 6. This was supposed to happen last week, and then shit got fucked out. And then Phil decided to get fully vaccinated, so that's fine, I guess. I'm not bitter about this at all.
Yeah, I'm legit now. I was told by the pharmacist that I'm fucking legit.
That's what he said. As you walked out, you're like, whoa, you're too legit to quit, Phil.
You told me I'm legit, so fucking A. Pharmacists know what's up.
So we're a little late to the game on our film, but apparently, and this maybe there's some new information that came out since a week prior of the release of our new film. I say new in asterisks because the film technically came out 3 years ago.
Yeah, right.
But this is a new film altogether.
Yeah.
Some new information came out about a plot hole. Zack Snyder did an interview about a plot hole.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was something. We'll bring it up.
We'll get to it.
Oh, we'll bring it up. So, yeah, well, welcome back, everyone. If you're coming back, welcome. And if not, we'll just plow through and you can watch us back on YouTube, like every sane person said.
This is the first time we're like in the same room. I've never seen this guy.
Oh, that's true. You're a lot taller than I thought so.
I've never seen this guy before in my life in fucking person, but now I'm seeing him. It's fucking weird.
So, what do we got today, Phil? We're going to talk about our first rewind.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because it's 2010, which it didn't feel like a rewind
right
2 years ago, but now all of a sudden, now it's definitely more than a decade old.
Yeah, it's an older movie, and but it's pretty cool. It's a little tiny movie we like to call Scooby Doo Part 2, Monsters Unleashed.
So let's roll the clip here. Probably hearing.
It's really weird not hearing. Oh, hey, I can't hear anything.
The world is under attack. Monsters are taking over. And now there's only one thing to do.
Okay, read the description.
Well, that was my outfit, I swear.
Mystery Inc. is back.
Let's do it again.
Unfortunately, so is every monster they've ever faced.
As usual. In the embarrassing
Save Coolsville from an attack of their past monsters, brought to life by an evil masked figure trying to take down the gang. Phil, what did you think of Scooby Doo 2? Too Scooby, too legit, too cool.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I didn't watch the first one.
What? That you need that. That's actually vital plot information.
I had thought about that, and then I was like, you know what? How pertinent really would the first one's story be to the second one?
Major plot points.
But there was a lot of shit that I was kind of like, yeah, that probably would have helped a little bit having watched the first one.
I think the only thing that was actually maybe commented is I think Velma had like a thing for Shaggy.
Oh, really?
I think that was
the first movie?
I think that was a thing that happened. And it was unrequited love or something.
They have that. I mean, there's that whole scene with they're in the museum and there's like a bunch of these like creatures that they've captured. Did they capture any of those in the first movie?
No.
So that was just like a haul of their captures over like the past
Hall of Captures. Yeah, the government it's also funny of like thinking about like the actual like funding and like the perception of ghosts, because the first one it broke new ground, being that it wasn't a person behind the mask.
Oh,
it was actually just real life ghosts.
That's in the first Scooby Doo movie?
Yeah, real life ghosts. And they also retconned Shaggy. Who's like the little like turd that's also like a dog that also talks?
Oh, that's Scrappy Doo?
Scrappy Doo. Scrappy Doo is evil.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
This is in the first movie?
Yeah. So this is all.
Fuck it. We're watching the first movie now.
Coming back.
We're gonna come back on the next episode. We're gonna watch the first one, Scooby Doo 1, Hall of Captures.
Yeah, I remember being like a young kid and feeling kind of like a little like not feeling good about the fact that like Scrappy Doo,
Scrappy Doo,
whatever his name is, was like evil. He wasn't like evil. He was like, I'll kill every one of you.
Really?
Because he didn't. Scooby Doo got most of the attention or something.
Did he get possessed by like some?
No, he's just a fucking asshole.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, he like made this whole thing, and he made.
Because I mean, he's kind of a dick in the cartoon, I guess. Like he's a little. He's
no. He's like a plucky side character.
Yeah, but he's got attitude. You know what I mean? Like he has attitude. Kind of in the cartoon, but he's not an asshole though. He's like spunky. He's not. Yeah, exactly. And
anyway, Scooby Doo 2.
Yeah, we're not talking about that. Fuck that first movie. We're talking about the second movie.
So what I'm trying to say is this one stayed more true to form.
Okay.
This was more like just a feature length 90 minutes VHS.
Right.
VHS. That's what they're called, right? VHS tapes.
I think so.
True to form VHS 90-minute Scooby Doo film.
Yeah. No, it's pretty solid. It's a solid little movie. It's funny because I talked about it a little bit earlier. We watched Alice in Wonderland I don't remember if it was last episode. I think it was last
It
episode.
was last episode.
Yeah.
That movie is just fucking weird and Tim Burton-y as a motherfucker.
You don't know how to like feel like or connect with anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's mostly just an experience. It's a visual experience. It's like, and it sucks because of course Tim Burton makes some great films and he had up to that point, but whatever. Modern day Tim Burton's whatever. But
If you missed that one, you can go back, and for anyone,
that's right.
in the catalog, you can go back.
That's right.
Anyway.
Back catalog shit. It's in syndication.
Well, I'll put a little like blurb on the thing, being like, if you want to go back.
Yeah, go look at the old shit. You know, it's good. But Alice in Wonderland to me was not a very successful kids movie, like entertaining, fun thing. It was really weird and had a lot of weird visuals, and it seemed fucking scary straight up. Like any little kids watching that would probably shit their pants. But Scooby Doo 2, on the other hand, is like the opposite. It's a really fun, entertaining. It's silly. It doesn't take itself too seriously.
Yeah, there's like a scene where like Shaggy, like because they each find their like clan of people, and then Shaggy's like he's like walking through, he's like,
Right.
"Hey, my people's over here," and it's like, oh, I got that reference
Right.
now. I
Right.
got that, but yeah.
Yeah. No, but it's fun. It's a lot of fun. I think I wasn't expecting that just because I didn't know much about it. But then I found out later on that James Gunn wrote it. And frankly speaking, when James Gunn writes something, it's usually pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
Although I will say Guardians of the Galaxy 2, I don't know. I wasn't too thrilled on that movie.
Really?
But first Guardians of the Galaxy is great. Super is fucking great. Slither is fucking great.
You don't like the daddy issue thing, or what?
I don't know. It was just that was one of those sensory overload things to me. Guardians of the Galaxy 2. It was like there was just too much shit happening and just too much shit on the screen, and it got to just be kind of.
So I want to just
whatever.
talk about because there's like a running a running thing about like if it's not a Pixar film for kids, critics will like just bash it to hell. Because when I watched, I was like, oh no, Scooby, it's got so many bad reviews. Oh shit! And I'm watching it, and I'm like, I'm not sure what I guess my floor or my ceiling was like adequately like centered. That I'm like, it's Scoob. I'm not expecting like Lord of the Rings, the third,
Right.
from this film. I'm
Right.
like, there'll probably be a thing, and there'll be hijinks and a funny, kooky like slapstick comedy.
Well, that's a good point too.
And I'm
is
like,
that
what?
I don't think the people on fucking like Rotten Tomatoes and shit are like, the kind of people that this movie's geared for. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't understand.
So it's like it makes sense that a place like Rotten Tomatoes would be like, this movie's fucking dumb, but it's like it's not trying to be fucking Citizen Kane or anything.
Yeah.
It's just an entertaining, fun kids movie, animation, silly shit, hijinks, monsters. Yeah, and it does all that shit well. It's a cool, fun movie.
I mean, if there's a moment where kind of Scooby Doo appropriates like a afro wig and he's like a jive dancer,
Right.
I mean, I'm not taking it too seriously.
Exactly.
Because that is a scene that happened. I was like, okay, we're all just. It was like a saloon of bad guys, right? I
Yeah.
think that's what it was.
Yeah.
And at that point, it's like, okay, this is a cartoon,
Exactly.
and I should set my expectations accordingly.
Yeah. Shut your brain off and watch a little bit of hijinks.
Yeah, because if I had a kid, I'd be like, all right, that's fine. This is good.
Yeah.
This is Scooby Doo.
Yeah, it's good. It's fun. They're not going to get weirded out by like fucking weird ass dark creatures.
Yeah, and it's funny too because I think Scooby Doo has been in the pantheon of kids for what 60 years at this point now.
Yeah, I looked it up and it was like it's something like that. Maybe the early 60s, mid 60s.
I think it was like 70s, something like that, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm just thinking about it, and I'm like, I'm not sure what we expected. Like if I'm a critic being like, they didn't break new ground.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe that's what happened. The first one broke too much ground.
Right.
And they're like, I don't like those real ghosts. I don't like that. And we came back.
Yeah. I think one of the things I will say about it, because what year was it? It was 2010.
10, I'm pretty sure.
And the CG on Scooby is a little rough.
I was going to talk about that, but go ahead.
Little rough.
Oh, boy.
I just caught that shit too. Look at me. I'm a fucking comedian. I
was going to say that the CGI actually aged pretty well, actually.
Yeah, I mean, some of the other CGI was pretty good, and I'm not saying that it doesn't look good. I mean, I'm just saying that like Okay, so another movie I watched recently, we could talk about it a little bit later, but Tom and Jerry. Okay, so Tom and Jerry, they really leaned into the kind of like stylized versions of those characters. Okay, so a trend in Hollywood is that you know when they do those live action things, it's like going to be this like a real fucking cat, but it's like like the Lion King and shit, fucking Jon Favreau's movie.
You mean like a babe?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So like they'll take a character that's traditionally animated and they'll make it look like it's real with real fur simulations and all this.
Okay,
shit.
I got
you know what I'm saying?
I'm feeling you.
And if they would have done that on Tom and Jerry, I think it would have fucked it. I think it would have been stupid. Because what they ended up doing instead is they did like cell shaded, like Toon style
Roger Rabbit
CGI,
style.
and and it looks fucking rad. So it's like in Scooby Doo, it's kind of like the in between. You know what I mean? They made Scooby look a little bit more like they gave him more like ambient occlusion shading and shit, so that he looks more integrated in the scene. But he doesn't have fur. You know what I mean? And he doesn't look like a real dog.
Yeah.
And I don't think they were trying to make him look like a real dog.
Well, I think I was thinking to say that I think it aged pretty well because I think I'm fine watching it as like a PS2 graphics because I think if I'm watching it and it was like hand animated like Roger Rabbit, I feel like it would like put me out of it a little bit.
It could
because like it's like is that the cartoon world coming in?
I think either way, if it leaned too heavily in either direction, it could have been weird. So maybe it does make sense that they just stayed kind of middle of the road with it. I just was kind of like, I mean, maybe if Scooby had fur or something and he looked a little bit more real, it could have looked kind of cool, but I don't know.
Well, but then he's also like, he's standing on his own 2 feet, like swinging and kissing girls.
Right.
So
they do definitely lean into the animated kind of like qualities of that character. And they don't go too crazy with the realism either. Because, I mean, really, then it ended up looking like that fucking Harrison Ford movie that came out on Apple TV or whatever the fuck. What's it called? Call of the Wild. Call of the Wild, where he's like talking to like this fucking animated dog the whole time.
Oh yeah, that movie did come out.
It looks like a real dog.
Oh man, I remember that was like the last trailer I watched before COVID, being like, well, that's gonna suck.
That's like the post-pandemic version of Scooby Doo. That's like.
Oh boy.
Fucking Harrison Ford. Fucking Shaggy grows up to be Harrison Ford, and Scooby Doo's a fucking sled dog.
Oh my god, it's actually, canonically speaking, it's actually the same film. But yeah, I had nothing too, and maybe I just, again, my expectations were really low, but I had nothing like, I like snickered, and I think for a Scooby-Doo film at my age, I'm like, good enough.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's not geared for me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's for, when I watched Scooby-Doo, I think, I'm not sure what rendition of like, if it was like a remake or the originals, but I was like, okay, this is fun. This is, nothing to gain out of it. There's nothing really, there's nothing, it's the same thing over and over again for the story.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think if I watched it, I was like pleasantly like entertained. I think I called a pass for me.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I was going to talk a little bit about the performances. Like, so Matthew Lillard and Linda Cardellini were the only two who really kind of like over-exaggerated.
You didn't like Mr. Green?
Who was that? Oh, Seth Green?
Yeah, Seth Green.
Yeah, Seth Green's fine. He's the same dude like in every movie, really. He plays that really kind of like nerdy kind of.
True.
You know what I mean?
He always ends up evil. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
I think he's
evil.
Scotty
don't. But like Matthew Lillard and Linda Cardellini in particular, they really kind of leaned into the kind of like exaggerated performance, whereas Sarah Michelle Gellar in particular and Freddie Prinze Jr. maybe a little bit, kind of did a little bit of that really kind of zany, kind of kids cartoony vibe, but not too much. But I will say that like Matthew Lillard, to some degree, was his like that was getting a little annoying to me, like over time.
Well, I guess he's actually the actual animated voice too.
Now, like moving forward, or
I think he was before.
He was until this most recent movie, and so everyone's really mad because the most recent Scooby-Doo animated, I think, they didn't ask Matthew Lillard to come do Shaggy.
It's called Scoob or something like that.
And so
Scoob did come out recently.
Yeah,
I haven't. Well, we have 2 new movies to watch.
Oh man, we're watching the fucking
King
Scooby-Doo
Kong
marathon. We're gonna watch nothing but fucking Scooby-Doo.
This channel's not just a Scooby-Doo channel. I hope you guys are ready for this. But yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, those two performances are pretty good. Seth Green is whatever. I liked seeing Peter Boyle in the movie. I haven't seen Peter Boyle in anything in a long time.
Who is he again?
He played Ray's dad or whatever in fucking Everybody Loves Raymond.
No, but in this movie.
In the movie, he's like just he's like a red herring, basically.
Oh yeah.
He's like a guy that was cellmates.
Right.
Actually, Tim Blake Nelson is another cool actor who's in this movie, and he. Spoiler alert, he's the fucking bad guy. But Peter Boyle, yeah. Spoilers for a 15-year-old movie or 12-year-old movie or whatever. But yeah, Peter Boyle was like his cellmate or some shit when they were
right. I remember now.
And then he gets released, and they think, oh, it's him. Maybe he's doing it. But he was really fucking funny in it, and he died maybe a couple years after that. So it's one of his last.
I was thinking about that too when I was watching it, and I was like, I think this is probably the last.
I thought it was his last performance, but it's not. It's like second to last.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so Peter Boyle was really cool. I always remember him from. He plays Frankenstein in the Young Frankenstein movie too, which is a really
that's also a throwback.
Yeah, and then in the Dream Team, which was always a cool movie for me when I was a kid. That's something that I don't know what you're talking about. I feel like the references now have gone over my head. We're talking pre-Kelsey movies, but no, those are some throwback movies.
The only team I know has the Mr. T.
Oh, the A-Team. That's a hell of a fucking
That's
show.
the only team I know about. Remember that? We should watch that. If we get, oh man, we're going to roll on the wheel today, and we're going to get the A-Team remake.
I doubt it.
That came out in our lexicon.
The reason we're talking about Scooby Doo 2, Monsters Unleashed, is because this was the #1 movie
right.
at the box office from the wheel from last year. What was it last week?
What was the year?
It was 3 weeks ago.
He said it was 2010.
2010, wasn't it?
2010.
I don't freaking remember.
So we spun the wheel. This is the movie you guys had to watch. This was the #1 movie that weekend.
See, according to my list, it's saying it's 2004.
2004. Well, that's what you must have spun then.
Right.
Take off that.
Apparently, Scooby Doo 2: Monsters Unleashed was released in 2004.
Okay, so if that's the case, it's actually really progressive then, because I'm thinking about the way they framed Velma and
Daphne.
Yeah. They were really progressive in the way they were I don't need my man.
Right.
I'm actually the fucking brains of this operation.
Right.
And Fred was just the muscle.
Yeah.
You know? And I was thinking about that. I was like, oh man, that basically this whole team is just run by Velma and Daphne, basically.
Yeah.
And then Shaggy and Fred are just there.
Yeah.
Really?
That's kind of how the cartoon was in a way too. I think what the hell's the guy's name? Is it Fred?
Fred. Well, for my interpretation,
and his real name is Fred. Freddie Prinze Jr. plays Fred.
Yeah.
What kind of shit is? Okay. Well, anyway.
Typecast.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, in the show, he was kind of he was the one that always made the plans. He was the leader. He was very much so freaking, okay, gang, we're gonna do this and this.
Yeah. But this one is almost all spearheaded by Velma and Daphne.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's funny.
2004.
Yeah. Yeah, and for coming out.
We're in March, which is Women's History Month.
Yeah, and we talk. Me and my friends always talk about that, where there's
Women's History Month.
Not that in particular, but having cool, strong females.
Oh, okay, movies, yeah.
And it's dude, some of my favorite movies of all time. James Cameron, fucking Aliens is
Oh, I called that
the shit. Fucking Sarah Connor and fucking Terminator 2 is fucking great. She's just a killing machine, basically, And
Terminator 2 or just Terminator?
In Terminator, she's she doesn't know what to fucking do because she's caught off guard by the whole situation. She's still a strong character in the movie, but she's kind of unaware of the ramifications of everything that's happening around her. But in the second movie, she's legit fucking badass commando.
I shouldn't have. I made Phil go down a tangent. Go on with your point.
Well, no, I'm just saying there are a lot of good movies with good, strong female action heroes out there. You just got to look for them, and they might be kind of old, maybe, but there's others. I'm sure there's others. There's got to be others, right? I don't know. There's gonna be more though. There's Captain Marvel, and there's fucking.
I don't like Captain Marvel, but that's a little. She's not a Mary Sue, but a little bit something about. I won't go into it.
Yeah, that's for another day when we spin the
won't
wheel
go into it.
of 2020.
Sometimes.
do you
What?
want us to show your favorite scene?
Oh yeah, say
Oh,
our
yeah.
favorite scene before we
Here's
move
a
on.
cool
Before we
scene.
move on.
Scooby
We're at the end here.
I think we're on to something. It's like a huge laboratory. This place is like Clutopia, Scoob. Refrigerator. Lemonade.
How much episodes can we show?
I don't even know.
Check it out. Look at those weird letters, Scoob. Ready?
It goes on. Basically, they
You
turn
turned
into
into a
bunch of
freaky
different-
monster.
like I have a woman body.
Stuff that
So,
goes.
It's really funny. It's a cool scene.
this was a good scene. This was actually the most Scooby Doo-y of them all because this was also the same scene where they're like they went between like dark and light of like they would like hold each other.
Right.
I was like, oh yeah, Scooby Doo.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah,
It's good.
I think we run our course on this film.
Watch it.
Phil, so what are we stand? Is this a rewind?
It's a rewind. We rewound.
I think this is our first rewind. I would rewind it too. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is our first rewind. We're getting into March.
It's good.
We got our first rewind, Phil.
According to your theory, the movies are just going to get better.
They should.
We'll get a lull in the summer, but we'll see.
We started this show in January or whatever, and our movies were shit, and now they're gradually getting better.
What do you know?
Knock on wood, because the next
So
one we're gonna
I guess we gotta. I guess we didn't plan on this, but we got a little bit of shotguns into our new film. We got a little bit of shotgunning. Okay, so my first shotgun is Justice League. I'll talk to the camera. Justice League Dark Apocalypse War. This was the last animated film of the Justice League canonic thing. Better than the live action.
Do I have some? I have to talk to this camera. Hi, camera. I watched a movie too. It was called The Last Blockbuster.
Ooh.
And it was fucking sad.
Oh shit! What was it called? Amazon Prime has some weird things.
Yeah.
Afternoon Delight.
Afternoon.
This was with Catherine Hahn. I watched WandaVision. I was like, I want to watch something else.
Yeah.
Very painfully awkward, and I don't look forward to being married at 45.
Oh. Clarence Boddicker shoot your ass. In the face.
That's my review of Afternoon Delight.
Did I watch anything else? I thought I did watch something. Oh, I watched the one before you were talking about. It's called Justice League Dark, animated DC movie. If you want to watch good DC things, watch DC animated movies. Shotgun.
Shotgun. Boom.
Shotgun, bitch.
Boom. That was it. All right. I think that was it for. Okay, so now we should move on to our.
It's the moment.
New film. Our new film. All right.
The bells.
Zack Snyder's cut. I have to put that. Actually, hold on. Let me say the appropriate title. Zack Snyder's Justice League. Oh, cool. Determined to ensure Superman's ultimate sacrifice was not in vain, Bruce Wayne aligns forces with Diana Prince with plans to recruit a team of metahumans to protect the world from an approaching threat of catastrophic proportions. Ooh. Also, yeah, the mom, not mom, stepmom, matron. I think she's Mama Matron. I think is her name. What's her name? She's like a Mama Matron or something. She had like a little cameo in there, and I was like, well,
Wait, his mom, Clark's mom?
Darkseid. Not he doesn't have a mom. Oh,
Bring down the charging bolt.
Darkseid has no mom.
Darkseid.
I have no mom. So man, dude, there is so much to go on, but I guess I'll start off as I usually do. Phil, how did we feel about Zack Snyder's Justice League in 4:3 to protect his vision?
Right. For IMAX, because
we're all watching it in IMAX.
we all have IMAX
In 4:3.
projectors
we're all-
and screens.
Because we're all
in
having
our living
IMAX
rooms.
theater in our home theater on HBO Max.
It's better. It's better.
You heard it here, folks. You can wrap it up.
It's better.
Everybody go.
Shotgun.
home.
Everyone go home.
Where's fucking Clarence Boddicker? He burnt the fucking money. That's it. We're done. Justice League.
Burn the fucking money.
Zack Snyder's Justice League. It's better.
It is okay. I will say it is better. But it is funny because obviously I have to take in account of how I viewed this, which was in 3 parts.
So you broke it.
I
up?
watched when it first came out, like on the night it came out, I watched the first 2 parts. I think I fell asleep. I know I fell asleep because apparently I missed the entire battle of the Amazon War.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, well, I didn't miss anything, I think. Yes. So yeah, I fell asleep watching it, and then I watched the rest in 2 other parts making lunch.
Okay.
And so it's weird to me because it didn't feel like a film. It
Right.
felt like I was watching a very high production value TV show.
Right. Or like a limited series.
Right.
Whatever.
Yes.
Well, I mean, that's a good point. Wow.
Here we go.
Click, click, boom. I had a lot to drink before I came here, and that's why I'm drinking all this water. Okay. Yeah. So.
Did you sit down all 4 hour?
I fucking watched it all, man.
Damn.
Okay. I had to pee. All right. And I didn't do it. I didn't fucking pee. I watched it. The whole.
You
fucking
held
thing.
in your pee for
No,
like
I
cinematic
did pause it.
preservation?
I did pause it. I was like, this is too fucking long. I started getting hungry again, is what it was. I had dinner like 2 hours before I started watching it. And then halfway through it, I'm like, fuck, it's time for secondsies now. So I had to like pause it and go make a sandwich and fucking eat something. But no, it's really long, but the way it's presented visually is in parts.
Right.
Which is pretty cool, actually. And it helps it a little bit. But I almost feel like if they would have just committed to the whole, like you're saying, limited series thing, 6-part series, each one roughly 40 to 45 minutes a piece or whatever. I mean, because realistically, when you watch those on Netflix anyway, they just fucking go. They just go. You know what I mean? It's like you're watching one piece anyway. It's not really like it's going to interrupt in between.
I mean, I've binged a Netflix show.
Right.
Spoiler alert or news. I've binged something.
Fucking 8 hours of your life or whatever, 10 hours of your life.
Yes.
So it's like it's not unheard of to do that. So it was interesting that they opted not to do that. I think it's because it was supposed to be a cinematic experience, so they tried to keep that as.
I do have to
true to
tee
form.
this up by saying this was only brought about by, and this is why I wanted to maybe touch on too, the new world of film that I think we might be going into, because this was only made because of large base of angry nerds on Reddit.
Right.
Was like, well, that sucks.
Right.
There's no way that could have been the film that Zack Snyder, man.
Right.
My boy is Snack Snyder. Zack Snyder? Zack Snyder made.
Snack Snyder.
Snack Snyder. A little snack. And so by the power of HBO money, it was made. So, and the thing too is like, it's like almost like a cheat code, because obviously if this is Zack Snyder's cut.
Snack Snyder.
There's no way this would have made the theater anyway. You know what I mean?
Right. It's too fucking
There's
long.
no way. There's 4 hours.
Yeah.
There's no way.
But that is a good point too. Okay. So if this movie was, it's just really fucking bizarre to think about it, right? We need to fucking run really fast to go back in time to see fucking
Go pull a flash
to see what would have fucking happened. But it's like, I don't know. I mean, because he's already done this in all of his other movies, right? So except maybe Man of Steel, but definitely Batman v Superman has like the ultimate fucking cut with like a bunch of extra shit that's whatever. It just makes the movie longer. It's not particularly more like a cohesive of a movie. It's the same movie. It's just longer.
I will also set more of the scene here. So this is 2017.
Right.
We just we're heading into one of the best films of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which is Endgame.
Yeah.
But that has had a huge success because there's been like 13 films that Marvel has made, and DC has made 2 before this. And that was Batman v Superman, which was panned. Yeah. And still I watch it now and I'm like, oh man, this is really weird to watch. Right. And Wonder Woman. Yeah. And that was it. Yeah. So the producers of this film are like, well, we got to make money, and Marvel's doing it. We got to make it more like Marvel. Right. And so that's when Whedon's cut comes out into the picture. And so I understand it. I'm coming into it. I'm understanding everything. And now hindsight's 2020, and obviously, like, okay, well, yeah, this version's obviously better. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. But and this is what I was going to say about the animated films is that there's like a lexicon of films that have come up before, and they're like swimming upriver for this film because this 4 hours is only because there's so much stuff of these characters have not been established. Right. Yeah. See, this version we're watching after. Okay, so Aquaman has come out since, but it originally wasn't going to. Yes. This would have been the first time we see Aquaman at all. And it's definitely the first time we're seeing the Flash, and it's the first time we're seeing Cyborg because they don't have standalone movies. Yes. So, yeah, I mean, they introduced Wonder Woman briefly in Batman v Superman, so they don't have to give her too much exposition in this in his version. Am I wrong? Did Wonder Woman come out before this movie?
It did.
Did?
It did.
Okay.
Justice League. It might have even come out before Justice League did. Maybe it might have come out in 2006.
Was it a twofer? Did DC set it up?
And then there was that Doom Patrol. There was a whole different Cyborg.
Doom Patrol is
but that's
cool.
different.
With a different dad.
That's different.
Yeah. I like that Cyborg, by the way, from Doom Patrol. I think he's really good.
Yeah.
This movie redeemed him because, the original Joss Whedon Justice League, he was like completely fucking useless. Like he was.
Well, and that's the thing too. I'm watching this. I'm like, it's hard being like, man, Zack Snyder had the vision because he has so much hindsight on this film. It's like
there's that too.
Dude,
but like like we kind of talked about a little bit. Apparently, he only reshot like 5 minutes worth of actual movie.
Yes.
Okay, and the rest of that $70 million budget went toward like CGI enhancements and shit. And a shitload of additional scenes where they had to like green screen.
So the order of release was Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, Suicide Squad, Wonder Woman, and then the 2017 Justice League.
Okay, so but I mean, realistically, only Batman and Wonder Woman counted because Suicide Squad didn't mean anything.
No. And Suicide Squad has Ben Affleck's Batman in it for all of like 30 seconds.
I will say, now, did Zack Snyder did he just do Batman v? Yeah. Or did he also do the Man of Steel?
He did Man of Steel too.
Here's my gripe about it, and this is why I think why this whole thing is like built on a house of cards, is I think they fucked Superman from the beginning.
I think so too.
I think they fucked him from the beginning. I think that's why, looking at this, it's like such a trog. Trog? I'm not saying troglodyte, but like it's such a it's a word.
Trudge through it.
Yeah, trudge.
Yeah.
Because Superman is like a guy. He's a human that like loves and laughs and is not like just fucking murders people. Like you know what I mean? I think that it was like I think that they built this whole cinematic universe on Superman, and it's like a house of cards waiting to fall.
Right. Well, I mean, that's a creative vision thing, and I get that, and I know it's kind of like, I don't want it to just be a fucking, a reboot of Richard Donner's Superman or whatever, and I get that shit too. So they wanted it to stand on its own legs, and obviously Zack Snyder's like he's he makes these kinds of like really fucking heavy melodramatic fucking things, right? And so I mean, it stands to reason that was the approach they wanted to take with Superman, which I'm not necessarily against that concept or that take on Superman per se.
That he's Jesus. He's Jesus.
He is Jesus. But I mean, I think if you wanted it to be darker and more kind of like, just that darker side of humanity or whatever, him having to cope with that and him having to try to exist in that kind of a world. I get it, but he should still be this kind of fucking beacon of hope and this beacon of like strength and all that stuff, and not be so dark and so moody. And because it's like Man of Steel, really, like the first like 2/3 of that movie I thought was pretty solid. I was like actually into it. I was like, okay, cool. I get what you're doing. This is Superman. This isn't necessarily Superman's kind of like thing, but you've got something going. Let's see how this ends up. And then of course the ending is just a big clusterfuck.
Well, and that's the thing too, is like when like your main protagonist like literally destroys the world, like the city, like it's almost like a nuclear bomb went off. It's like, if I'm Batman, I'm like, yo, fucking kill this guy too. What the
Batman's
fuck?
completely justified in not liking.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, fuck this guy. This is our protagonist.
Which again, that maybe that's a testament to their vision too, because it tied in pretty well to how Batman v Superman went and the animosity between those two characters. So it's kind of like, okay, if you had that planned out, sure, I get it. But what sucks about, again, that version of Superman is that he has no concept of collateral damage. But this is another thing, even in fucking Justice League, there's moments of this too. But he has no concept of collateral damage in this movie. I mean, again, if you want to go back to Superman 2, 1979 or whatever this movie came out, like Zod and his other two fucking like, you know, soldiers or whatever, they attack fucking Superman on Earth. They're in the Phantom Zone. They fucking escape the Phantom Zone. They're on Earth now. They're wreaking havoc. Superman is not a year one Superman. He's not a year zero Superman in this movie. He's already been Superman for a while. And so, of course, to him, when they're smashing shit and, you know, General Zod's like smashing buses and throwing shit around and there's all these people that are like fucking afraid, his immediate thought is, I need to get these guys. They're after me. I need to get them to get the fuck out of here so there's not as much collateral damage happening, right?
Right.
And
well,
so,
we're just setting the scene here of why this movie's so long.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I'm just saying, like, the fact that we're having to like go through all of this, like trudging through this, is because the foundation of this, I think, is fucked.
It was all building up to that moment. That, at least Superman's fucking arc or whatever the fuck. And Superman's arc in the first movie is that he's just not very smart, and he, you know what I mean? And which is kind of dumb because he is a smart guy. He doesn't have to necessarily go to the fucking Fortress of Solitude to have fucking like Jor-El tell him everything he needs to know. Yeah. He could still know a lot just on his own because he's a smart dude. So it was funny to me that he just stayed in Metropolis and just let Zod wreak havoc there, and they just destroyed the entire fucking city. But again, I think, because it's that David S. Goyer guy that wrote the first movie, and I think that was their plan all along, was to have, that's why they wanted, we want to have a fucking Godzilla versus King Kong in DC. We're going to have fucking Batman versus Superman. And that was their setup. So I think they thought it through, for better or for worse. You know what I mean? I don't think it necessarily works, but whatever.
Yeah. And so this is all set in the scene of what happened with me, because I get why they wanted to insert humor in this film. Because at this point, like we're saying, Superman's basically a meta terrorist at this point.
Right.
And I don't relate to him as a human at all. And the reason why Marvel does what it does is because like jokes are like a peek into humanity. Right. And so like if I can't relate to Batman or Superman, I'm like, well, let's at least try to make them funny.
Right.
Because like that's a little bit of humanity.
Right.
But then you've already gone to the nth degree with Zack Snyder. So it's like cultural whiplash.
Yeah. They've leaned into that Zack Snyder version of things, dark, brooding.
Just everything's horrible.
Right. And so if you are going to do that, then don't shoehorn a bunch of like corny jokes into your Justice League movie. You know what I mean? And I remember watching that movie in the theater and I was like, wow, this movie's really fucking weird, but it's funny at least. You know what I mean? Like there were funny moments in that movie. Like, you know, what's his face? Aquaman sitting on the lasso of truth, just like spewing all this shit.
Oh yeah, he's like, I think I like you. I think I like you or something. Right? Yeah.
It's like, that's funny. You know what I mean? But is it the right time for that? Probably not. They're heading off to go fucking fight fucking this creature from another fucking planet, you know? So it's like, it all that Joss Whedon isms of that, the Justice League, as everybody calls it.
Justice League.
Yes. Justice League.
So yeah, so that was all just teeing up for what is now the culmination of Reddit's HBO Max Zack Snyder.
Right.
So I know those are a large tangent, but just now that we have that base.
Yeah, that's so
now we're
that's
here.
the story history. There's even more history to this movie too.
Oh, for sure. We didn't touch on it.
Right.
But so now we're here into this film, and like you said, yes, it is better.
It is better.
It is better.
It's really long. I don't get the fucking 4:3 aspect ratio. I don't get it. I don't get that they fucking made a black and white version too to watch. That's just fucking lame to me. But whatever. I mean,
he's got HBO money, man.
Yeah, it's basically that, which I will praise him and HBO for that, because frankly speaking, there should be more of that shit. There should be more opportunities for an auteur type director. Same thing. I was going to mention this too about The Irishman. Did you ever watch The Irishman with fucking?
Yeah, I watched a little bit, and I was like, I can't.
That's another one that should have been a fucking miniseries because it's long as shit.
Mm-hmm.
But what's cool about that is that you have places like Netflix now. You have places like HBO Max. You have places like you were talking about earlier with fucking Amazon Prime. Those places aren't afraid to go, tell me what movie you want to make.
Right.
And the director says, I want to do this shit. And they go, then go ahead and do it. And they let him do it. So that's fucking cool to me. You know what I mean? Because that kind of shit was going away for a long time. It was like, there's so much business part in the film business nowadays that it's like, you know, the studios are calling the shots on every decision that gets made, which is why Justice League came out the way it did, you know? So I think it's cool that places like HBO Max, places like Netflix in particular, are kind of like, hey, cool ass director, you tell me what you want to do and we'll fucking pay for it. You know what I mean? So yeah, The Irishman is it's kind of overindulgent too, to some degree. You know what I mean? It's really long. It's kind of boring at times, but it's the exact vision that Scorsese had. So it's like, that's great. I'm glad that there's outlets for directors to be able to make movies like this, you know?
So yeah, I do want to just say, like, because this film is interesting because it is indulgent. Because it's every time I'm watching it, I'm like, man, does this scene really need to be in this cut?
There's a lot.
What I mean?
There's a lot of like slow motion, dude. Like I think maybe the most slow motion I've ever seen in any movie.
There was a moment I remember. I was like, man, this Batman car is still going. Are we still catching? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But there's that joke of like, if they cut out the slow motion, it would actually cut out like half an hour of the film or something ridiculous.
Right.
Which almost doesn't feel like a joke sometimes.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, there's a scene of like Wonder Woman being like, oh man, dark side. And I'm like, this is so pointless.
Right.
Zack Snyder, this is part of your vision, guy. You know what I mean? So I'm like, is this a TV show or is this just like, well, it's on HBO Max, so like fucking put it in.
Right.
You know what I mean?
What's cool about those moments, though, I will say, is that the movie delves really fucking deep into what's happening, right? With the existence of Darkseid, the existence of the
which is all new, which is weird to me. That I was like,
right?
Oh, they didn't talk about Darkseid in this. Right. Oh, that's new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And the mother boxes and the anti-life equation. These are all things from like the comics and shit that it's cool that they're there. You know what I mean? And it's cool that he went that far into that lore for his vision of the movie. You know what I mean? So that's neat.
That was the thing. Okay, so Zack Snyder, that was the thing about the anti-life equation. So I was watching that too, and I was like, man, did Darkseid just like make a big oopsie and forget it was on Earth, or what happened there?
Because
that was the plot hole.
Is that the plot hole you were talking about?
Yeah.
Ah, look at that.
Because I was watching it, and I was like, man, is Darkseid just like a fucking idiot? What's going on here? He just forgot that he fought an entire nation and lost, and then left.
Like thousands of years ago, I can't remember how.
The Zack Snyder says the plot hole is basically that when he lost, he needed to group all of his forces, and all of his allies died, and so they all forgot where he went, and I guess he forgot too.
I heard about that,
and I was like, that's the stupidest explanation, but sure, fine.
Right.
I don't know. I feel like if you get your ass kicked, you probably remember where it was.
Exactly.
And if you kill all these other planets, and that's the only time you have failed, I'm like,
right.
But okay.
Especially when you know why it is you failed, and the 3 mother boxes are on the same fucking planet.
He forgot. It was like an oopsie.
He just forgot. I mean, hey,
oopsie.
Nobody's perfect.
He's got a lot of things. He's got a lot of killing to do.
He's a busy guy. He's got a lot of shit going on.
He's got murder this guy.
I forget things too. Okay. It's. I get it. Darkseid. I'm with you, man. # I'm with Darkseid.
Yeah, I gotta wake up as well and whatever.
But no, that's a bad one. That was weird. There were some other moments in it too that I'm referring to my trusty little list of shit here. Man, I put a lot of fucking shit on here, dude.
Okay.
It's a long fucking movie. So where are we? Batman owes something to Superman. That was an interesting scene to me. So at the end of Batman v Superman, Batman basically fucks Superman the entire movie, the previous movie. And then Superman goes, my mom's name is Martha, just like yours. And all of a sudden he changes his whole fucking tone and he's like, oh shit.
We're back to Batman.
What have I done? Right. So in this movie, he keeps saying, he says to Alfred that like, he's like, I owe it to Superman to fucking do this and this. And I'm like, how is that? You don't know Superman shit, really. You know what I mean? Like you kind of were the reason why he died. And maybe that's why you feel bad, but you're fucking Batman. So why do you fucking?
I mean, that's why I touched on like it's all fucked from the beginning.
Right.
I honestly think it's all fucked from the beginning.
Yeah. So him being very kind of like, oh, I have to unite us. That's what he That's what he would have wanted. And it's like you don't even know what he would have wanted. You don't even know Superman.
Literally the only connection they had is that he said his mom, and then they fought guy Doomsday. What's his name?
Darkseid?
No, he's the guy who's like, I killed Batman or Superman.
Doomsday.
He kills.
Oh yeah.
He literally says Martha. Then Doomsday comes, kills Superman. Batman's like, we gotta put the team together because Superman wanted. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Did he tell you this? No, you don't even know Superman. Yeah,
I don't know.
That's the thing. That's the biggest problem with these movies is that they were like you said, they were rushing to catch up with Marvel. Marvel was already like 20 fucking movies deep.
Yeah.
And we have a question for you guys.
Oh, okay, sure. Just by Carissa, DC or Marvel?
DC or Marvel.
Well, apparently Phil doesn't like too many of the Marvel films, but I'm actually a big stan, so I don't know.
Well, okay, this is a deeper question.
It might just be a Disney thing.
This is a deeper question here, okay? I'm not fucking around. I'm not fucking around with you. Okay, so DC is like the originator, okay? DC fucking like started the superhero genre. Superman was like the first fucking superhero, really. I mean, if you want to talk about like John Carter of Mars and shit beforehand, sure, there were other fucking characters before. But as far as like comic book shit, it was like Superman and Batman, they kind of started the whole thing. Marvel was cool, but it wasn't that cool until fucking Stan Lee came around, okay? And then he created like all the cool characters that everybody knows. He created the Hulk, he created Thor,
Spider-Man,
Iron Man, Spider-Man, Captain America, all this fucking shit. So that I like both. I'm not gonna pick one over the other because I like both. They both have different approaches to their superheroes, and they both have like really cool things that they have to offer. And I'm a really big X-Men fan too, which is all Marvel shit. But I think, I mean, I like the DC characters more, I would say, just because they're such like iconic comic book characters. You know what I mean? And the Flash is like my all-time.
It feels like you're answering what comic book you would go into a store for. How about the films?
That's what I was saying. That's what I was going to say. Now,
this is called the real Blowhards.
If we're going to talk about movies, the Marvel movies fucking blow away the DC movies fucking on almost every level.
What about the movie that just came out recently, New Mutants?
I haven't watched that movie.
There's a good reason.
Yeah. But this is funny too. The DC animated movies are phenomenal. Okay, watch the DC animated movies; are fucking great. The Marvel animated movies, not so much.
They're just there for like kids,
like little kids.
Yeah,
they have like Thor, like with like he's like baby Thor, and he like has like
it's like a lot of like Lego Marvel
like
thing.
Shit.
Yeah,
but yeah, their Marvel's live action movies are fucking far superior than DC's live action movies. But that's why I'm saying DC and Marvel, it's deeper. It's deeper, man. Okay. But Shazam wasn't bad. Did you watch Shazam?
I love Shazam.
Shazam was pretty good.
Shazam was all right, dude. That was another weird one where like that director.
It's Captain Marvel.
Yeah, exactly. Isn't that fucking funny? He had to forfeit that name, like I don't know, in the 80s or some shit maybe. But that's a whole other story. The Flash is my favorite character of all time. Okay. What do you think
of Zack Snyder's?
The Zack Snyder's, the Justice League, the Flash.
So it's funny because obviously in the Whedon cut, he's like a autistic funny man. It almost seems like it kind of they pun him like that.
Right.
And this one, they're like he has a dad, and they actually gave him more to do this time.
Right.
Because in this time, okay, so he wanted as much destruction as possible. This is what I'm talking about, the humanity thing. All right. Because Zack Snyder doesn't give a crap. He just wants them to be like they're superhumans,
Right.
and they mean nothing else to anyone else.
Right.
Right? Because in the Whedon cut, Flash actually dedicates his time to saving people, and there's like people in the town,
Right.
and that's completely cut out.
Yeah.
And now it's just more about Flash, and man, I feel like if you don't know the comic books, you would watch that scene and not understand what's happening. But that's just me.
Right.
But like since I know everything about his power set, I'm like, oh, he's going back in time right now.
Well, he did talk about it briefly in the movie, though.
Did he though?
He did.
He did talk about it very briefly. So there was a little bit of a seed that he.
Spoiler alert.
In the 4-hour cut, when did he talk about going back in time?
He says.
Was it when you peed?
He says to no. He says to.
So when he has to go the speed of light to zap Superman back into being alive, he's like, if I go too fast,
That's right.
it messes with time.
Yeah, he's explaining to them that he has to go fast to create the freaking energy used to
But not
bring
too
Superman
fast.
back.
So
But
like
if he goes too
so you're
fast,
telling me
he'll go back in time,
entire,
which he does do in that scene, by the way.
so an entire big plot point is like sold by like a one-off line.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I just
So,
so
but-
we're both understood.
But it's like you're saying, you're right. It's such an epic moment in the movie that I think people who aren't that familiar, or at least aren't that into the details of the story, would be like, what the fuck's happening right now? He's like, we're all running into like this fucking void or whatever.
Mhm. It was
So
cool.
it could be confusing. I get what you're saying.
All I'm saying is, but so like I liked it. I just think, man, I'm not sure. I like Flash a lot, and I think he did was a lot better. But I think in that moment, it was subsequently cool and cringe for me because he's doing this thing, and I think as he's talking, he's like, I'm doing this for you, Dad.
Right.
And I'm like, who the fuck are you talking to?
Right.
Why? Just be like, internalize or just be like, I got you. He has like an actual like full line of like expositional dialogue.
Yeah, it's like a little monologue.
Something like that. And I'm like, it's like that. Why are you saying it like that?
Right.
So like, I like this character obviously a lot better because he has a dad that he's actually referring to, and he has that moment when he's like, slowed down and talking to the girl that what's her name? Man,
The girl that he saves in the car.
but that's also supposed to be a nod to a future character.
That's his wife, his future
Right,
wife. basically.
right, yeah.
Irish
But,
wife.
man, that's also a thing. Oh, man. So yes,
Yeah.
I like it better in this
He's
version.
better. He's better. He's fucking shit in the Justice.
And this is what I was gonna say. This is my also a thing about Zack Snyder. Half of this film feels like a middle finger to like production companies, because he makes it being like, man, I include Martian Manhunter,
right?
And I'm watching like, did he just add Martian Manhunter, or was that like a thing that was already? Because he obviously already shot it.
Yeah.
But then he does this like, oh man, if you went with me, production company, you could have Martian Manhunter and this cool apocalyptic thing that I'm setting up, but you won't ever get it.
Right.
I shot a whole new scene.
That last scene was very much so
of
that.
Jared Leto.
Yeah.
And they're in the freaking future, but like, guess you'll never see this film.
Right.
And it's like, why? This is so unnecessary.
Yeah.
It's just a giant middle finger, honestly.
That last scene, big time, was exactly that, because it's like you said, they're most likely not going to make any more.
Oh,
they're already rebooting. They're wanting to reboot.
Batman.
They got a new Batman already. They're going to be rebooting Superman soon.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't even made their Flash movie. That movie just keeps getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. So, which sucks, because it's like, I think all of these actors are really good, and I think Ben Affleck is like a good Batman. I mean, he kills people, which is a little fucking weird, but whatever.
He uses a gun, which is very weird.
He uses a gun, and he kills shit.
Super weird.
Yeah,
super
he
weird,
smashes
because
people's
it's
brains into
kind of
walls and
against
shit.
his whole reason why he's Batman.
Right.
Kinda.
But
if you
again,
think about it.
this is their take. This is what they're doing. Whatever. So it's a little weird to me. But yeah,
What a fucking I don't know.
yeah.
Batman was probably sad about the fact that someone killed his parents with a gun. He's
Right.
probably like, mortified by guns.
Yeah.
But I'll use one.
I'll use one and I'll murder you.
All right, guys, it's time to go to the wheel of 20 years. The
All right.
20-year wheel.
Man, did we get anywhere? Did we talk about this film?
We talked about this movie.
What do you guys think? You guys like it?
Man.
Yeah, it's good, but
It's better.
it's long. It's long. Yeah.
I feel bad because I feel like we just literally sat here talking about what
Like
could have been.
Yeah, and the history of the bullshit that is DC extended. universe.
Kelsey, free Buju is poggers about you being in the studio.
Oh, wow. There
Look
we
at
go.
that.
We're in
We're
studio.
in the place.
Oh, yeah, we're in studio.
This is a studio.
I made an analogy to Phil yesterday about
There's another comment from Free Butcher, by the way.
Batman was horrified by bats and called himself Batman.
I mean, yes.
You're right.
Did I miss that part? You should have been called Gunman.
That's the next.
He's
one.
just really scared by
All right.
guns.
He's scared of guns.
We need wheel cam.
But he
guys.
embraces the guns.
Wheel
now.
cam? Okay,
Wheel
so
cam.
we got wheel cam coming in. Okay, here comes
How
wheel
do
cam.
we, how do we
A
do
little
this?
over more. No,
More towards
there we
Phil.
go. More towards Phil, more towards the
There
Dasani
you
water.
go.
A little closer to Dasani.
Okay, there we go. I think,
There
Phil,
you go.
you're in charge of the spin here.
Okay, so there we go.
That's been it.
Since
Spin it.
All right, but hold it down so
Kelsey,
you get a
hold
good
it.
spin.
Kelsey, hold it.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so everyone, we're
All right,
ready.
so this, you guys are getting ready to go for the next movie, your next rewind movie for next week.
All right.
I mean, for the next episode.
Everyone, thanks for watching us complain. Oh, where did we stand on Justice League? Good, bad, yes?
Look, okay, listen to me. The movie is good. Okay, it's pretty good. It's not great. Nothing Zack Snyder's done in any of these movies is great. It's just like cool. So
Yeah, I was like, no.
Justice League is cool. Watch it. Yeah. Shotgun it. Do whatever the fuck you want.
I also
Okay,
concur.
I'm gonna spin this wheel.
All right, ready,
Wait.
everyone? We're here
Wait
for
for wheel.
Oh, wait.
Can you,
Let's get
can you,
this.
can
Here
you,
we go.
can you see my
Okay.
sausages in there?
4.
Okay.
And-
Go.
Go.
Ready,
Is this where we're at?
big money, big money, big money, big money, big money, big money, big money. 1996. Here we go. What the fuck did happen?
It just happened. It's the first time.
Oh, dude. That was weird. I did not. Let it be known I did not see. That was weird. Whoa.
It's magic.
What?
All right, so what movie you guys going to review?
1990.
The number one box office movie this.
What's our next-
Is it Phil for you? 1996 Big money.
What's our next?
Was it? Are you
episode?
looking this up?
Yeah, Phil's looking it up.
I'm looking
2
at it.
weeks from today, so April.
Also, we got gypped out of. So we were originally going to have this show on May the 4th,
Oh yeah, I
and
was
we
gonna talk about
got
that
we
too.
got gypped.
So
And now Carissa's show,
so we would do April
actors are in the
April
workplace.
13th, right?
Yeah,
Okay. And by the way, April 13th, I'm going to be
away.
coming at you via Zoom, I believe, or via
Via
Yeah.
satellite.
Remote satellite.
I'll be remote satellite. that
satellite dish.
Back to the way we used to do it.
But yeah, so we'll say the 16th, 17th is roughly our opening weekend days.
Weekend, okay.
So April 14th.
1996.
Okay,
we got
see,
for me,
we're
baby.
getting better here. We're getting better.
1996. What was the number
1996. It's April. It's not no longer all the shitty movies. We're watching Primal Fear.
Oh.
one? Primal Fear.
Primal
Can
Fear.
we put a poster up here?
I'll find it. Give me a second.
Primal Fear. Huh?
Primal Fear. 1996.
Okay.
April 14th. It was the number one grossing movie in the U.S.
What was that? Was that a scary movie?
and
was that
Fra-
suspense?
Feels like an action.
Not
film.
really. I've seen it.
Yeah.
It's like a thriller, like a suspense thriller. It's got Richard Gere and
Oh yeah, there we go.
I think it's Home Slice's first movie.
Home slices.
Home Slice. Edward Norton's first movie. I
Oh,
believe.
really?
Yeah.
This is more just of Kelsey catches up. Kelsey catches up on things that happen.
Before
Oh,
you
and
were
Phil-
born.
He was weird in this movie, right?
He's awesome. Yeah. It's
Uh,
okay. Cool. We're talking
So
about that.
then new films.
And then our new film, I think, is going to be Godzilla versus
King Kong. I think it come out tomorrow.
It's coming
Apparently
out soon. Yeah.
tomorrow, along with.
There's Primal
Oh
Fear.
wow!
Actually,
Primal
they
Fear.
just released the fact. It's actually going to be a tag team. It's going to be Godzilla and King Kong versus Superman and Batman.
Ooh.
Tag team it out. All right, so that's the movie.
If it was Superman and Dom Toretto, dude, hands down, it's like fucking Godzilla and Kong done. Done.
So next week we're going to.
I had to catch up to that reference there for a second.
It's
about family.
So we've been told that our spot is canceled, and we're going to be sharing the slots for May 4th.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, we're gonna do it together.
That's what I was gonna say. I think it would be cool too that for all three of us to sit here in the hot seat and talk about it.
Is it King Kong versus
I think it's
Let's
King.
go to the middle.
I think it's King Kong versus.
Godzilla?
We'll have a
There you go. Let's see.
there's gonna be a
All
special
the way back. All the way back.
May 4th special
Further. Oh yeah. Okay. good.
featuring
You'll fit right there.
Be with you.
us three on the
With all
4th.
of us.
And
It's gonna be
Doug
great.
and Doug and Kristen will be there.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And
So,
you were
We'll
there.
have fun. And you were
You
there.
were there. So everyone, thank you, Carissa. All right, so thank you for if you tuned in, if you're watching back at home. Make some animated things, some reactions. That way I can make a thumbnail.
Oh wait. Okay. So let's see. Wait. Let me see. We
Gotta
gotta
be-
get Phil.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which one do I look at? Is it
There
this
we
one?
go. Yeah.
Yeah, give me a hard reaction. There we go.
Good.
There we go.
And my reaction is gonna be
Wait. Good. Excellent.
all right. So that's great. So
Yeah.
if you're watching this in Twitch
I'm real
land,
shiny, look at
then
me.
obviously that was cut up. But thank you so much, everyone. Phil, thank you again for letting us talk and riff on the
Talking
films.
shit about movies.
Talking shit about movies. Everyone, thank you so much for watching.
All right, spin the wheel on the way out, dude.
Spin the wheel on the way out.
He's gonna fucking call it again. He's gonna say 2002, and I'll say 2002, and if it lands on that,
1998. Yo, what's going on right now? What's happening?
Do one more
What's
time.
going on? I said Big Buddy's job.